Hello, all my yoga friends. Welcome to day 8. We have made it past a week and hopefully your body is already feeling better, your mind is feeling clearer, and you're starting to see some of the benefits of yoga. Today, our focus is on inversions. So anytime our head is lower than our heart is considered an inversion. So we're bringing more blood flow into our head and sometimes into our heart space as well. It really helps with getting the blood flowing. So today's video is going to be focused on getting the blood flowing. We are going to get started. We're going to start with feet up the wall. We've done this one before. I just want to encourage you to get a blanket. Some people like a blanket when they're doing legs up the wall. So get close to a wall and bring yourself over here. This beautiful blanket was made by my sister, Diane, who is not a yogi, but is really good at making quilts. Amazing. This is actually my son's quilt. So we're gonna be over here in legs up the wall and just try to relax into this a little bit. Just try to concentrate on your breath. Relax your mind. I invite you to lengthen your inhale and lengthen your exhale. Breathing in for 1, 2, 3, and breathing out for 1, 2, 3. Sometimes closing your eyes through this can also be helpful. So breathing in for 1, 2, 3, and breathing out for 1, 2, 3. Take a few more of these deep, long breaths where we're breathing in for 3 and out for 3. Try to get your mind off of your to-do list for today, things you have to get accomplished. Spending time like this for yourself is really one of the most important things that you can do for yourself every day. So don't worry about the distractions or the things that are going to happen later. Just appreciate the right now and be in this moment. Appreciate your breath, appreciate your health. And in these inversions, we're getting more blood flowing to reach our brain. We'll bring down the blood flow in this particular procedure, in this particular posture, and more blood is flowing towards our brain, which helps to invigorate us, make us more energetic, have more energy throughout the day, more creative, things like that. Take one more deep breath in for 3 and breathing out slowly for 3 counts as well. And then as gracefully as you can, kind of bring your legs over and bring yourself out of the wall. Sometimes you might just want to rest here on the side just for a second, just to kind of get used to our body being in this different position. Come back on your mat, sitting in the mat. We're going to go into child's pose next. The official yoga name for child's pose is Balyasana. So feel free to have a wide leg child's pose, or you can bring your legs closer together. Either one is great, whatever's more comfortable for you. And we really the goal is to really try to get our head grounded on the ground. This is actually an inversion of sorts. So if you need a block, that's why blocks or blankets, any of these kinds of props are really helpful in yoga. So if you can't reach the ground on your own, then get a prop and let a prop help you to reach the ground. Whatever's comfortable for you. Again, just continuing to focus on the breath, feeling that
forehead as it touches the ground is a very grounding and calming thing for our mind. Just appreciate trying to calm your mind in this manner.
As you come up, we're just going to sit back on our feet a little bit. We're going to do a different kind of child's pose called puppy pose. It's kind of in between child's pose and downward dog. So we bring our hands out in front of us and we'll bring our hips back. So we're just kind of in a little bit of, but we're bringing our head back down.
So for some people, this is more comfortable than doing child's pose because it's hard to get your hips all the way down to your knees or down to your feet. But in this pose, our hips are just a little bit back, but our head is still grounded.
You can come back up. And if your feet are directly underneath your hips, you're already in lightning bolt pose. But if you had them a little bit wider, bring your feet back in so your knees are straight, your feet are directly, the heels of your feet are kind of almost touching right at your sit bones. You're standing up straight, you're in good posture. Now we're going to take our arms and clasp them behind us. Try as much as you can to get your palms close together. If they're not touching, it's not the end of the world. But if you can, touch your palms together. And then think about grounding those hands further towards the ground. So as we're opening up our chest, our shoulders are coming down. Now we're going to take those arms, and if you can, start reaching over towards, bring your head closer to the ground and your arms either kind of straight up here, or if you can bring them any further forward, whatever's comfortable for you. But again, concentrating on keeping our hands together. But our head again is grounded as it was in child's pose earlier. Take a few deep breaths in here. And come back up. Kind of shake out those arms for a second. Move them back around. One side to the other. We're going to do that pose one more time. So clasping our hands behind us, bringing those hands a little bit closer towards the ground as we open up our chest. Now with our palms clasped together, bring our chest over towards our thighs and our head towards the floor as we bring our hands either straight, kind of straight up in the air, or if you can, bring them a little bit forward as well. Maybe your hands are way back here and that's where you feel comfortable. Whatever feels good in your body. You don't want this to hurt. You want it to feel like a nice stretch in the shoulders, a little bit in the upper back, but you don't want this to hurt. Coming back up, kind of shake that out again. Now we're going to do something, I'm going to move to the side so you can see it, called broken toe pose. So we're in the same pose. All right, and you know, if this hurts, you can also consider using a block right here as well. But we're going to come onto our feet now. So I want you to put your toes onto the ground, and your knees are grounded as well. And then as you start to bring, you'll feel it, as you start to bring your weight back, your bottom more towards your heels, you will feel an intense amount of just action in your toes and in your feet. We're going to try to stay here for about 5 more breaths. So whenever you're in an intense pose like this, just concentrating on the breath and breathing into that area. All right, one more deep breath in. Bring that out. Okay. So we're going to bring our feet back in front and stretch that out a little bit. That is a super hard pose for me. I've been doing it for a long time now, but it is still a really hard pose. I really feel that in my toes and in my whole feet, but it's great for your feet. Your feet are what supports you and help you with your balance. So a lot of times in life, we don't spend enough time strengthening or stretching out our feet, but it's really important. It gets more important as you get older. Now we're gonna lay straight on our backs, and we're gonna come into bridge pose, which we've practiced before. We're just gonna kind of do a mini bridge this time. So come onto your back and bring those feet in towards your bottom and your hands directly on your side. We're doing this pose just to kind of get ready for what's kind of our bigger pose today, which is gonna be shoulder stand. So we're getting used to kind of being on our shoulders. So I encourage you to bring your shoulders in towards one another. So your chest is up. So your spine is not on the floor here. It's really your shoulders that are supporting you. And then if you can, bring that bottom up just a little bit and bring those hands either closer towards one another or clasped underneath you. So we're not really going to come up too high here. We're just really, again, focusing on getting those shoulders onto the ground so that we're supported in this position. Okay, come back down, kind of roll this out a little bit, roll backward and forward to shake that out just for a second. We're going to do that one more time. All right, bring those hands back in towards one another, and especially bring those shoulders in. If you want to bring those hips up a little bit, feel free to kind of come into the full bridge pose. But again, we're not totally warmed up yet, so you don't want to do anything that is too intense yet, because we're still kind of at the beginning of what we're going to do this half an hour. Take one more deep breath in and out. All right, then we're going to come back up, and we're going to start in what we do every day, downward dog. Downward dog is just a pillar for yoga poses. It's just one of the best poses that we do. It really does invigorate the entire body, and it is an inversion. So we're getting into inversions, and I'll show you how that works. So even from hands and knees, we'll bring our hips back up into downward dog. And as always with your first downward dog, but just be gentle with yourself. Maybe bring one heel down and then the other heel down. Sometimes I like to bring both feet up and then bring them over, both heels over towards one side, and then bring them up again and the other heels towards the other side. You're just kind of doing whatever you can to warm up those hamstrings a little bit and feel a little bit more of a stretch. You can try to bring your head closer towards in between your arms. If you can, bring that head a little bit closer towards your feet. Now I invite you to bring your right leg straight up in the air. Again, this is even more of an inversion because we're bringing even more blood towards our head. And bring that leg, and you might need the assistance of your arm here, all the way up towards the front of the mat. Never feel bad if you need the help of your hands to kind of move your legs around, because that's pretty common. So we're going to come into high lunge here. So our knee is directly over our ankle. Our left leg is straight back. Feel free to have just a little bit of a bend in that knee so you're not locking out that knee. And this is always a great place for blocks right here on either side if it's hard to get your hands all the way to the ground. Take one more breath in here. I invite you to bring that back foot up just a little bit, so to make it easy for you to come into crescent lunge. And bring that back foot back, those arms straight up, and those back toes and the front toes are both facing the same way in this pose. Now that back foot, bring it in a diagonal way so that the front foot is facing the front, the toes are facing to your right, and then that back foot is flat, even with the back of your mat. And we're gonna come into triangle pose, so bring those arms straight out, and if someone's pulling this right arm, pulling you over this way, pull that way first, and then come down towards the ground, reaching that left arm straight up. Really trying to focus on getting both shoulders even with one another. Not as much importance on getting yourself all the way to the ground. For some people, that's just a real pain in the groins. So don't do that if that hurts you. Just come to whatever level feels good in your body today. Take a deep breath in here. And come back up. This time we're going to take both of our feet and bring them in the same direction. So both toes are facing forward. We have our hands on our hips. You might want to think about widening your feet just a little bit here. We're going to tip forward from the hips and bring our hands to the ground. Now, for some of us, you can get a little bit wider here, and if you can, that's great. This is a great place for a block if you have one, because we can bring our head all the way to the ground this way. Some people can bring their head all the way to the ground anyway, but if you can't, then the assistance of a block is an amazing thing, because we can ground ourselves into the ground and take a moment here just to appreciate this inversion. Take one more breath here. And we might want to scoot those feet just a little bit closer together. Put our hands on our hips, and then using the strength of our abdomens, tighten up your abdomen muscle as you bring yourself back up. Great. And we're going to try to do the same thing on the other side. So I invite you to tip over towards the other side. So for me, it's my left-hand side. And we're going to come into lunge on this side. So this time our left foot is in front. We're going to go back into downward dog. And then we're going to ground ourselves just for a moment in child's pose, Valuasana. Bring those hands back up in front of you. We're going to come back into downward dog. Your second downward dog is always just a little bit easier than your first. You're a little bit more stretched out and ready to go. Bring that left leg straight up. And then, like I said, if you need the help of your hand, or just scoop your leg on up. So this time your left leg is in front and your right leg is in back. And if you need to, feel free to scoop that back leg, that right leg up a little bit as we bring ourselves up into crescent lunge. One more breath here, and pop that flat back leg flat and even with the back of your mat. The front foot is going to be facing towards the wall. And bring those hands out as we come into triangle pose or Trikonasana, like someone's pulling on this side and then straight on over. Trying to focus on keeping those shoulders even with one another. One more breath here. Bring ourselves back up into even, taking both of those feet and facing them forward. If you want to, bring those legs a little bit wider here. Hands on our hips as we fold over onto our mat. And then once you kind of get down, feel free to adjust yourself. Maybe your hands are right here, and we're just kind of bringing our head like this. If you don't have a block. Or if you have a block, try to use that as an aid. Get a little bit, your head a little bit closer towards the ground. Whatever feels good in your body today. Just take a few moments to appreciate this inversion.
Remember, we're nourishing, whenever we have our head below our heart like this, we're nourishing our brain, helping our brains become more invigorated, more creative, bring new life into our body. Okay, as we kind of inch those feet back together, then put our hands on our hips, come back straight up. We're gonna do that one more time, a little bit quicker on each side. So come over towards your right and into lunge pose. It's high lunge. Bring that right foot back to meet the left and come into downward dog. Bend those knees, bring your head to the floor. Just a minute here to take a break and appreciate what's going on in our bodies. Take your hands up in front of you, bring those hips up and come back into downward dog. We're going to take that right leg and bring it straight up into the air. Try to keep those hips even if you can. And with all your effort, using your good leg and your abdomen muscles, bring that leg up into a high lunge. If you want, kind of bring that back leg, that left leg a little bit closer to the right to make it easier to come into crescent lunge. Now a nice stretch in the abdomen muscles, hip flexors here. Bring that back foot even with the mat in the back. Bring that foot flat. Hips are facing forward. As you bring that right hand forward and down into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Take 2 breaths here. Come back up. Bring both of those feet forward, hips forward, hands on hips. And then come over into a forward fold. And again, just trying to bring our legs far enough that we can get our head closer to the ground. Take 2 or 3 breaths here. Come back up, scoot those legs just a little bit closer together. With the strength of our abdomen, come back up, scoot those legs over to the left side, come down into high lunge, bring both of those feet to meet one another in downward dog. Bend those knees and bring that bottom back as we come into Balayasana, child's pose. Take 2 breaths here. And we'll send those hips back up into downward dog. This one more time. The left leg is coming straight up and back. Again, these are all inversions. We're getting the blood flowing in different directions in our body. This really helps our lymph system as well. Now we'll come into a high lunge here. Bring that back foot just a little bit closer if you like. I actually don't like to, or else it makes me wobbly, but you feel free to bring it closer in if you like that. And come into crescent lunge. Bring both of those arms straight up. Now take that back foot and put it flat and even with the back of your mat and that front foot. Your toes are pointing forward. Bring those arms straight out. Reach over towards your left and then bend down towards that left foot. Keeping both shoulders even. You can either
Bring your gaze straight up or your gaze straight out. Whichever looks great for you. Bring your nice self back up. Bring both feet facing forward. Bend over from those hips. Bring those legs just a little bit wider and bring that head closer towards the ground. And sometimes, if you're more stretched out, you can do things at the beginning or after 3 or 4 times that you definitely couldn't at the beginning. So that's part of the beauty of yoga, is waiting till your body is warmed up so you can do things. Okay, bring those legs a little bit closer together. And we're gonna come up. And then however you wanna bring yourself down, back to the ground, we're gonna focus on a new pose called shoulder stand, which is really an amazing inversion. Shoulder stand, you just wanna be careful with though. If you have any major back issues or shoulder issues, or especially problems with your neck, just make sure you're being careful in this pose. One of the things we can do to make this pose a little bit easier or more accessible is using a blanket underneath our shoulders. So our head will be on the ground, but our shoulders will be on this blanket. So I'm going to show you shoulder stand with this blanket. So you may want to kind of watch first, and then we'll do this together. So you want to lay back on this blanket with just your shoulders. Let's get this back just a little bit. Just your shoulders on the blanket, so our head is not on the blanket. So you kind of create this little more comfort zone for your neck here. So first, just bring your feet kind of a little bit closer towards your bottom. You're going to use your hands and your elbows for this particular pose. We're going to bring our bottom up first and then straight up if possible. So for some people, this is a no-go. So for some people, you're just going to be right here. You're going to come from here. You're going to use a little bit of momentum to get your bottom up, and then you're just going to stay right here. And this is going to be enough. But you can already tell my voice is wiggly. But if you'd like, you can come into the full shoulder stand, which is our feet straight up. So I encourage you to get a blanket if you'd like, but if you don't have any problems with your shoulders or your neck, that's fine. And do the best you can to either come into this pose or bring those feet straight up. We'll just stay here for a count, maybe 3 or 4. Especially if this is a new pose to you, you don't want to overdo this one. But this is a great pose. It's kind of similar to headstand, but for a lot of people, it's a lot more accessible and easier. And it's a great way to kind of get that blood flowing in an opposite direction. So bring both of those hips back on the ground and enjoy the benefits. We're only going to do that one once today because that's a pose you kind of got to get, make sure you're used to. Feel free to do it longer on your own, but you don't want to overdo it with shoulder stand at the very beginning. So now we're going to do Jani Shishasana, which is kind of a forward bend. So we're going to put that right foot forward and your left foot in towards your inner thigh, and then bring both arms straight up and just come on over towards your knee. Wherever feels comfortable for you today, or just bring those hands directly to the sides. All right, now we're going to do that with the other leg, so just switch them out. Take that left foot in front, that right foot on that inner thigh. Bring those hands straight up and bring your body straight over. Take just one more breath here. As you breathe out, usually you can get your body just a little bit closer. Do that one more time on each side, but we're going to add a little something to it. A little something something today. So bring that right foot out and the left foot in, arms straight up. Hopefully you guys are enjoying
a beautiful day today. It's a beautiful day. Trying to appreciate our time here at home.
All right, now this time bring your right hand kind of straight out to your side. And we're going to kind of do a little bit of a bringing our hips off the ground. So for a lot of us, we have to get our foot back on the ground and bring our hands over towards the right hand side. Actually, I think I'm supposed to have, all right, that's fine. Okay, we're going to do this on the other side now. So bring your left foot forward and your right hand here. We'll come into the forward fold first. Okay, and I totally did mess it up on the other side, so we're gonna bring that hand to the side, but you just come on up. I don't know if I did it exactly this way on the other side, but it's always easy when I'm just doing it myself, but when I'm explaining it, come back down. Now we're gonna lay all the way on the ground and just do a reclined belly twist. So get your body all the way laying down. We're almost ready for Shavasana. You've done a great job today. You've really done a nice job of inverting your body, getting your blood flowing. Okay, so now I invite you to bring both legs up and just bring your heels together, your ankles together, and both arms out to the side, and bring both of your knees towards the right side. Trying to keep your legs together as much as possible. And if you can, try to keep both shoulders on the ground here. Now with the strength of your abdomen, bring both legs back towards the middle and bring both legs over towards the left. So this should be a nice twist to kind of bring out all of those fun things that we did today. Now bring both legs back towards the middle. If that was enough for you, we're going to do that one more time. If you'd like a little bit more, you can take your left leg and put it over your right leg. So they're kind of together like this, and then bring them over towards the right. It just gives you a little bit more intense stretch. Again, making sure you're keeping both of those arms and shoulders towards the ground. Both legs back in, bring them together. If you'd like, just have both knees together, or if you'd like a little more intense stretch, bring your right knee over your left knee and bring them both over towards the left, keeping both shoulders on the ground here. Appreciating your body for all it's able to do. Don't ever be upset with your body about the things that you can't do, but just appreciate what your body still does for you every day. All right, bring both legs back in, and I invite you to just lay back down on your back as comfortable as you can get. Laying here in corpse pose, Shavasana. Lay all the way flat, concentrating a little bit on your breath, and really trying to make your whole body more and more comfortable in this pose. I'd like you to start with your head and just relax your head, starting with your eyes. Can you make your eyes a little bit more relaxed? Any tension you feel in your eye area? In between your eyebrows as well, just relax that area. In your cheeks and your jaw, especially when you hold a lot of anxiety in your jaw, sometimes just moving that around, making our jaw as comfortable as possible. Now into our neck and our shoulders. Can you move your neck around a little bit? Can you move your shoulders to how they feel the most relaxed? Taking all of the energy, just feeling the earth as it's supporting you. Then into your chest and your heart. Breathe into that and help it relax. and your abdomen and your hips. Try to relax into the ground, really feeling your body sinking into the ground in a totally relaxed and comfortable state. Now focus on your legs and your hips and your knees. Any uncomfortableness in those areas, try to breathe into it and make your body as comfortable as possible. And finally, your feet and your hands, because we forgot about them earlier. Just make them as comfortable. Twirl them around a little bit. Any anxiety or any stress or tension you feel in your ankles or your feet, just try to let go of that. Now just concentrating on your breath, moving in and out of your body. Try to expand your diaphragm and your lungs a little bit fuller. And exhale just a little bit deeper. These inversions that we did today, they help our head relax and get new vitality, not relax actually, get new vitality and energy rushing into our body. It also helps our lymphatic system, which kind of gets rid of any toxins or unneeded things in our body. It kind of flushes out our lymph system when we do inversions. So sometimes it's good to think of, getting rid of these things that don't serve us, making room for new experiences, new challenges, the excitement of life. So as you relax and concentrate on your breath, I just want to leave you with one last quote from Jeremy Kent. It goes like this: how to win at life: by working hard, complaining less, listening more, try, learn, grow. Don't let people tell you it can't be done, and make no excuses. Make your way into a seated position, into Sukhasana. Just with our legs folded. Again, thinking about our posture. And hopefully you're carrying your posture throughout your whole day. And making sure that our shoulders are down, our chest is out. Remember we talked about how when our chest is more open and our shoulders are down, we're open to more experiences. We're open to new and exciting people. We're not closing ourselves off from the world. We're opening ourselves up to the world. So think about that with your posture and your yoga practice. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate all the nice comments that many of my friends and family are sending to me. They're really encouraging. I'm glad you're enjoying the videos. I'll have another one tomorrow so you can continue with your yoga practice. I invite you to put your hands into prayer pose as I bow to you and bow to this practice. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste.